Okay, so today we have an M.A. Larson episode about what happens when Spike accidentally makes Twilight feel bad for the way she treated other ponies before befriending the rest of the main characters.
Oh, my old friends. I can't remember any of their names right now. But do you really think that they think I'm a bad friend? I've got to make it up to them. Pack a bag, Spike. We're going to Canterlot. And make a list of my friends' names.
Ooh, I remember this one. Shining Armor.
The only logical place to start is at the beginning. Oh, it's exactly how we left it.
Well, that's weird. Why would Princess Celestia, who transferred Twilight, leave her old home exactly the way it was?
Look at the way I left this place. It's a total mess. Just like how I left my friendships.
So it can be like she's stepping back into her old life exactly the way she left it. Okay.
It's predictions and prophecies, and it's still open to the elements of harmony.
And here's that present I was going to give Moondancer. Guess you won't be needing that.
Actually, one funny thing I've noticed is the way some bronies are saying this episode, drawing from the day we first saw Twilight like it does, made them nostalgic for the first episode. Because I've always said that episode did a fantastic job on our first look at the main characters, but whenever I talk about it, I get bronies trying to assure me that it's one of the worst two-parters, even though it's one of the ones I never really found any backlash towards from when it debuted. They tell me it was just the intro portion, that it was supposed to do the things I give it credit for. Like, after all the escalation we've had, surely that's just the stage we're long since done with, the stuff we can toss aside and be happy knowing what we have now is better. But all of a sudden we're excited about an episode directly using what it did as the groundwork for a story.
Have you ever heard a joke so many times you've forgotten why it's funny? And then you hear it again and suddenly it's new. You remember why you loved it in the first place.
These ponies have probably been suffering ever since I left, wondering why their supposed friend would treat them so badly. So what brings you by anyway? All those times you've come back to Canterlot, you've never had donuts with us before.
Okay, Larson, you gotta be careful not to push it. I know these are the same ponies that invited Twilight to a party in the first episode, but even then they seemed more like friendly acquaintances than friends. And haven't we seen at least a couple of them in Ponyville and on screen with Twilight since the first episode?
Oh, we see you all the time.
You remember our old friend Lyra, right? She lives in Ponyville, too. We're always over there visiting her.
Ooh, you dodged that bullet pretty well. But how are you actually going to portray the interactions here? I mean, Twilight seems to be expecting a lot of drama for a few school days type friends, who she couldn't have been that close to, especially considering that she can't remember their names. I mean, frankly, nothing about what happened here is anything out of the ordinary.
It happens sometimes. Friends come in and out of your life like busboys in a restaurant.
Wow, I'm big on the classic movie clips today.
Inuit?
Twilight Sparkle! You old so-and-so! Hey, Spike! Look at these wings, huh? Hey, grab a picture of me and the princess, will ya? Wait. Really fluff them up, huh? I just had the greatest idea! You want to go see Lemonhearts and Twinkle-Shine?
Of course! My old friends!
Come on, let's fly! Get it?
I like Minuet.
I learned what it means to be a good friend, and that I certainly wasn't one to the three of you. So for all the pain I caused you, I am truly sorry.
Oh, come on, Twilight! It's not like we weren't used to that from you.
Yeah, we didn't take it personally, but it's really good to see you now.
Very well played. In fact, this seems like a good lesson for Twilight, considering the hero complex we're starting to see from her here and there, like in Rainbow Rocks. A good sense of tact and knowing when not to lay it on too thick can be just as important as knowing what's right. And yeah, most people are more than capable of coping with a casual friend dropping off the map without any Hollywood melodrama. I just remembered we haven't actually established the conflict yet.
Whatever happened to Moondancer?
Moondancer?
Yeah, you know, our other friend.
We just sort of lost touch after you left.
I think she went to live out by the stadium.
Moondancer?
What do you want? I'm trying to study.
It's us, your old friends.
Ugh.
Wow, she's rude.
Kinda like you used to be, huh?
Exactly how I used to be.
No, not exactly. And you might want to bear that in mind if this is going where I think it's going, just FYI.
We've been watching her for 3 days.
No pony looks at her or says hello or even gives her a smile. It's like she doesn't even exist.
For a while there, she was really starting to come out of her shell. Remember when she threw that party?
There you are, Twilight. Moondancer is having a little get-together in the West Castle courtyard. You want to come?
Wait, she's that pony? The one Spike was going to give the present to?
Thought she might finally be letting her guard down a little with that party. We invited her out a few times after that, but she was always too busy studying.
And if Princess of Friendship Twilight had been there, she might have been able to help build some momentum from that instead. Okay, so let's see what Larson can spin from a plot about someone who made the leap returning to help someone who didn't. Any chance of some comedic gold?
Oh my gosh! Moondancer? Is that... Shh! Can I talk to you for a minute? Shh. Shh.
I'm sorry I skipped your party.
Shh. Why won't you leave me alone? I'm trying to study.
Started out a little cheesy, but that was actually pretty clever. Now how about the part where they start to bond?
Wait, how did you get into my book like that? You'd be amazed how much you can pick up when you're actually in a book. It's one of Haycart's methods. You know Haycart? Of course, he's a genius. Hey, didn't I give this to you? Look, I didn't bring you over here for even more poignant reminders of what a bad friend I was. I brought you here to give you this. You can come here whenever you want and study to your heart's content. Really?
Nice and sweet. And now, how about the part where they start to make some progress on Moondancer's problem?
But first, you've got to do something for me. Have dinner with our old friends tonight. I can't.
Why not?
I'm reorganizing my biology scrolls.
No, seriously, why not?
The last thing I need is a bunch of ridiculous friend-making keeping me from studying. I tried friendship, and it's just not for me.
You're really not convincing me this makes sense by talking about friendship like it's some vague heart of the cards-esque concept.
What if I taught you Haycart's method?
You planning on being a professor or something?
No.
So you're just studying?
Can I go now? Moondancer, please.
Okay, you realize you can't live someone's life for them, right, Twilight? Especially someone you barely know now. I mean, she seems pretty sure about what she wants, and she never said it's because she's mad at you guys or something. It's really not even your business.
You've got to give friendship a chance. Duh. I gave friendship a chance a long time ago. That party was everything to her. I can only imagine what it must have felt like when I didn't show up. Thank you so much for coming.
Of course. We wouldn't miss one of our best friends' parties.
Is Twilight coming? Oh, okay. Sure.
Alright, stop. First of all, without even confirming it, you're acting like it's a given that Twilight skipping Moondancer's party caused her to become the way she is out of hurt. It's really not. She had 3 friends there, all enthusiastic to make it happen. If something had gone wrong at the party and hurt her feelings, that could at least explain it. But something like that imaginary flashback would be unreasonable, not to mention melodramatic on her part. Second of all, on that note, you know what I said before about most people being perfectly capable of coping with this, no melodrama required? Well, just because you found an exception doesn't mean it calls for melodrama now. Yes, it would also be important to show them sympathy, but if someone honestly has trouble rising above something like this, then they need realism, not dramatic pleading. Having one character play martyr and take all the blame for something that ultimately wasn't their decision isn't fair, and lets the other party use that as an excuse instead of confronting whatever their real insecurity is and helping it heal. Not to mention that we've seen the martyr approach done countless times before, and it always turns out every bit as melodramatic, which seems to be the word of the day here, as the concept sounds. First, the self-described victim is like, "It's just been impossible to live with. No matter what, I just can't get over the fact that you hurt me." And then the main character is like, I know that I can never be forgiven, and I can never take it back. But I swear to you, I will do everything within my power to make it up to you, you poor soul. For you should not have to suffer for my mistake. I only hope that someday, maybe, I can be redeemed. So can this episode deliver something smarter than that?
Ooh, a brief history of the wagon harness. The life and times of Mirari the Maneless.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
Thanks, but no thanks. I don't do parties.
I know. And I think it's my fault. Back when we were in school together, you invited me to a party. And now that I realize how important friendship is, I'd like to make up for my mistake with a new party.
And you think this is gonna do it, huh?
Well, sure, why wouldn't it?
That was only the first time I ever put myself out there, and then you didn't even bother to show up. Then you left town without saying goodbye, even though we were supposed to be friends.
No, Larson, don't do it! Melodrama is not the way! Remember your nuance, man! Remember your character dimension! Remember the little girls watching this who still need to learn how these things work in the real world!
I was humiliated. I felt like I wasn't important. Those three finally convinced me that I had value. That other ponies might like me and want to be my friend. And you didn't show up! Ah!
You're right. This party can't make up for the way I hurt you. But please, don't let my mistake be the reason you can't be friends with any pony else.
Kirash. You know, what's kind of funny is that one of the things winning people over in the first place, or me at least, seemed to be how well this show avoided the drama queen stuff. What the characters really needed to get from A to B was never swapped out for crying and rhetoric and sappiness. And when it did decide to do some feel-good drama, like in Cutie Mark Chronicles, it made sure it was still a good moral, so it felt well-earned. Actually, Cutie Mark Chronicles was an M.A. Larson episode too. Maybe we've all become a little too comfortable with melodrama. Okay, so I won't be ranking this as a great episode. But does that make it a bad one? Not even close. I mean, let's face it, by now with his experience, M.A. Larson could probably sleepwalk through a better episode than the last two if he wanted. Here he creates an interesting and meaningful scenario. And it's still a lot of fun to watch Twilight reconnect with the other friends. I especially like the revelation that Pinkie Pie and Minuet know each other.
Oh, sure. She was one of Cadence's bridesmaids. We hang out all the time when she's in Ponyville. Twilight briefed me on the way here. We'll need 15 bags of confetti and as many hugs as we can get. Let's go! We can pass by the donut place on the way.
Seriously, more Minuet. And truth be told, Larson did have to do some stuff right with Moondancer, whose personality at least feels real, to even get to the ending before crashing. So yeah, still a decent episode. And I needed one of those.
Here's a little something I wanted to give you back at your first party.
You know, the point I seem to keep bringing up is that Larson seems more excited about the ideas at the root of his episodes than he does in the actual story crafted around them. Maybe he's just gotten a little lost in the part. Maybe that's him trying to give us what he thinks we want instead of telling the story the way it means the most to him, which is part of being a good writer. I mean, I agree with his Twitter post that we'll always have Sonic Rainboom and such, but from what he was able to do in this episode, I think the potential for more on that level is still there.
He's looking at you, kid.
Actually, I think that one's too much.